Did you know that the major music services are using a system called pro rata share to pay artist royalties? And did you know that it's unfair? There's a way called the user-centric royalty system, and it's better for musicians, songwriters, and the fans. Right now, with the pro rata system, all the music gets paid into a pool, and every month, Spotify divides the artist's total monthly streams with the total monthly streams on the service, and this is called stream share. Artists that have the biggest stream share get paid a better per stream rate than artists with a lower stream share. Many people don't like this. I'm one of them. I think it's unfair, especially for artists who aren't making so-called popular music or hits. So the user-centric royalty system would change this. Here's how it would work. With the user-centric system, your monthly subscription money goes directly to the artist that you stream. You see, with the current pro rata system, very little of your $9.99 a month subscription actually goes to the artists that you listen to. The majority goes to the superstar artists who have the largest stream share. Let's say, for example, this month I only listen to one artist on Spotify. Let's say Red Hook, and I stream Red Hook's song 200 times and no other artist for the month. Okay, so let's take my $9.99 a month subscription. Spotify every month takes $3 off the top. That leaves about $7 for all the other artists and the music streamed. So Drake and The Weeknd and all the other superstar artists are taking most of that $7 up. And Red Hook's only going to get about 50 cents from that $9.99 a month subscription. I want that direct fan to artist connection. I want my money to go to the artists that I listen to. That's how it was when I used to buy CDs and vinyl, and that's not how it is on Spotify. So with user-centric, in this case, Red Hook would get all $7 from my monthly subscription, because I only listen to them. If I listened to dozens of artists that month, it would pay them based on what percentage of my listening was on their music, but it wouldn't pay any artists that I didn't listen to. Now, there's been several studies on the user-centric royalty system over the years. Here's some of them, and I'm going to leave a link to these in the video description below. But every time one of these studies is announced, the media asks the labels and the music services about them, and they're brushed off and discredited. The user-centric model causes problems for the music services and the labels, and they're hoping that the idea will just lose steam. You also won't find many artists talking about this because there's winners and there's losers, and the data pins artist against artist. So you have to wonder why the music services wanted to use the pro rata system in the first place, a system that pays the top 10 artists about 15% more than their fair share. This is taken from the CNM Deloitte study out of France that was done in January of 2021 and reported on by Hypebot. I point to the instance where Taylor Swift pulled her music from Spotify in protest back in 2014. I'm sure when she agreed to put her music back on the service in 2019, they probably said something to her like, "Hey Taylor, don't you realize we were paying you better than everybody else anyway? We got you." The truth is, the streaming services don't want to do user-centric because it's technically expensive for them to build into their accounting systems. And also, the next time a superstar artist throws a temper tantrum over a low payment, they won't be able to point out the fact that they're giving superstar artists a higher rate. It's convenient for the streaming services and the record labels to dismiss all of these studies and say it's not worth the effort. Since not enough emphasis is being put on the positives of the system, I want to spend some time talking about all of the reasons that we should demand a change to the user-centric system. The most recent study released was done in France by CNM Deloitte, and Spotify and Deezer both provided data for it. Emmanuel Legrand said on Hypebot, "Some will be disappointed that it does not make a final determination on one system versus the other. However, what it shows us is that user-centric is a fairer system, in that it allows more diverse genres to get a bigger slice of the pie." Artists within genres like classical, hard rock, and blues are the big winners with the user-centric model. Check out the numbers from the CNM Deloitte study. This example from Joseph Dumont's 2018 study in the Hastings Law Journal shows how developing artists might be helped with the change to a user-centric model. The hard rock band Down and Outlaws, with approximately 55,000 streams on Spotify overall, should have received roughly $385 under the current model. According to their artist page on Spotify, they also have 2,600 monthly listeners. If they could convince 2,000 of their listeners to subscribe and listen to them only 10% of the time that they use Spotify, they could make about $1,400, earning almost 400% more than their total royalties in 1 month. Artists whose music falls into a very specific genre, like Down and Outlaws, can benefit greatly from this model, as their fans may be less likely to stray outside the niche. Something I found interesting about the Clouds and Concerts study was that in the case of Norway, which the study wanted to find an impact on local Norwegian artists, and it was a 13% increase in payments to Norwegian artists. Stuart Dredge wrote about user-centric for Music Ally, and he said, "Nor does it mean that every smaller independent artist would be a winner from the change. It depends on how intensely their fans stream them." User-centric needs to be adopted for the simple reason that the current stream share system isn't fair. I fear once again the streaming services and the labels are getting off easy in this debate. They don't comment on the positives of the system, and they've just said that this isn't the perfect solution that everybody's looking for, and the issue dies in the news cycle. But let's say they do the user-centric model. Every artist will be treated equally, and that'll build trust. But this user-centric payment system is not the only way that we can help improve the big problem with music royalties. Here's some other ideas. More fair revenue splits between artists and record labels and songwriters and publishers. I argue that without regulation, this won't happen. The free market has failed musicians and songwriters for a century. Consumers need to pay more, but don't think that if the seas of revenues rise that the problem will be fixed. Music services and labels are still taking too much. So with this effort, there needs to be some direct pass-through of revenue to musicians. Perhaps blockchain is the answer to this. But $9.99 is too little to pay for the world's entire supply of music. There's no TV or movie service that gives you access to the entire world's supply of TV and movies. Advertising. Free subscriptions are funded by advertising. But Spotify only generates 10% of their income from advertising. They're simply not doing a good enough job bringing in advertisers and keeping them happy. They've had 15 years to build a great advertising platform, and they haven't done it. It's too expensive, and the reporting is not good enough to let the advertisers know if their ads were effective. Bots and hackers are stealing revenue from working musicians and songwriters. Music services pay for any stream over 30 seconds. People have cheated the system, especially in the nature sounds and sleep category. They've flooded the market with tons of 30-second tracks in 20-hour playlists. There's one nature sounds artist now that makes the same money as Lady Gaga. I found it in this article in Rolling Stone. They talk about this artist, Sleep Fruits Music, whose tracks are barely more than 30 seconds, lasting just long enough to register as a stream on Spotify and trigger a royalty payout. And then it says Sleep Fruits Music did not exist at the start of this year, but last week the account was generating roughly 10 million streams a day, and which that's saying that these numbers are on par with Lady Gaga on an average day in recent weeks. And then down here it goes on to say, it's estimating $20,000 to $30,000 in royalties. And that's coming straight out of the pockets of artists. So this needs to change. Perhaps they move to a model that pays based on time and duration. This is how TV and movie services compensate their rights holders. And I haven't heard a lot of outcry from the film and TV industry on their compensation from streaming services. Royalty education. Musicians need to educate themselves about music rights so they don't get ripped off. If you sign a deal and you don't understand your rights, this is one of the causes for low pay for musicians. Going back 100 years, artists have devalued their intellectual property rights simply because they didn't understand them. Bookmark this video to learn more about music rights. Okay, those are my thoughts on how to improve royalties and get better pay for musicians. Let me know your thoughts and ideas in the comments below. And if you want to find out more about what I do, please visit bandbuilderacademy.com. All right, thanks for watching.